everyone. I'm Lisa. I'm the founder of Image Is Marketing, and welcome to This is Business Hangout. I'm here today with Lesley Bryant, aka Lady Clipper. In my opinion, one of DMV's coolest new lady barbers. Now, Lesley, I've known you for 6 to 7 years. The whole point of this conversation is that I wanted to get you online to talk to you about your career transition. We're going to talk about what got you, what inspired you to change, or what happened to make you change your career, and then maybe we'll take some questions at the end. You were a graphic designer, and now you're a barber. How does that happen?
Well, life happens. So I was a designer for about 12 years. Went to school at the Corcoran, was really into it. Really, it happened to me. I was laid off on my job about 2 years ago, and I decided, corporate America may not be the best fit for my next step. So I decided to do something I had always been interested in, and that was barbering. And one thing led to the other, and I got my license, and I'm here.
I'm pretty sure it didn't happen that instantly. So, okay, you said you'd always been interested in barbering. Personally, I didn't know that until you were no longer working at the company, and then I think you disappeared for a few weeks, and then next thing you know, you're saying, "Oh, a lot's happened, and I'm in a barbershop down the street." And how does a graphic designer who is interested in being a barber be a barber? How do you even do that?
Well, I think my journey began, I think, as an artist, you're always looking for new opportunities to expand and to express yourself. Mm-hmm. And for me, barbering, I've always been into hair and fashion, and, I like makeup. I don't know, I haven't been trained in those things, but I've always been into, as you always say, you like pretty things. So, yeah. So in liking pretty things and loving art, it just sort of made sense for me to just go ahead and follow my heart and try something new. Now, I didn't tell a lot of people about it because I was a little bit ashamed, because coming from a background where education and I would say sort of an elitist background, mm-hmm. Barbering was not something that I felt what would have been acceptable for my parents, especially after getting my degree and working in a field for so long. Why would I, choose a trade over something that that took years of education and struggle to
right.
get.
Right.
So for me, it was a natural transition, but for everybody else around me, it just came out of nowhere.
Yeah. I was confused for quite a while after you told me. I said,
I think some of my family members are still confused and concerned, and to them I say, I got this.
You always say you got this. So, and pretty much everybody just throws their hands up like, okay, she said she got it. She said she got it. So, okay, so do you want to, I don't know, you don't have to, but do you want to actually go a little bit deeper into the specifics of how, again, no longer a graphic designer, and then I don't know, how do you start? How did you get trained? Like, how did you go to school and then just start working, or what did you do?
Well, first of all, when I got laid off, I took my severance pay and I decided to go home to Trinidad and sit on the beach and really think about what my next step would be.
Okay.
I just knew, something in me knew that corporate America, although the pay was great, was not going to feed my soul in the way that I needed at this point in my life. So there was, I guess, growth and transition for me happened with that layoff. So I sat on the beach and did a lot of self-talk and relaxed and spent time with my dad. And when I came back, I really didn't have a clue of what I wanted, what to do.
Right.
And I was one day I went to go visit my barber and to get my hair cleaned up in the back and my sideburns shaped. And I was chatting with him and told him, I got laid off, and, I was a little, I was sort of a floater as far as what my next step would be. And he said, well, you're always trying to cut your hair yourself, and you're always trying to line something up, and you're always coming in here for me to fix it. So you're an artist, you're halfway there. So why don't you think about barbering school? I was like, well, how much does that cost? And how would that, and he just was like, look, if you want to shoot for the stars, shoot for the stars. Don't worry about it. You have to invest in it if that's what you want to do. And I was like, well, I do like coming to I like the barbershop experience. I like how it feels. It's casual. People I feel like are the most honest in, the beauty shop or the barbershop. Yeah. So for me, I told him, I said, tell me what schools to look up and I'll take it from there. He suggested it. I did the lookup and started school like a month later. And one thing led to the other. My teachers were great. They supported me. They, even when I did cuts that I didn't believe were where they were supposed to be, they just kept saying, keep bringing your models in, keep practicing. This is something you want to do. You can do it. We already see that you have it. So with that motivation, it took me to the next level. Like I just kept hearing their voices in my head, like keep going. And for me at that point, going to school and not picking up a career right away, it was sink or float. I had bills to pay, and yeah. So you're a little bit more motivated when your life is on the line. I guess. I know. When you're trying to figure out how are you going to keep this roof over your head.
Right.
So it was a huge jump, a huge leap, and thank God I'm doing all right.
How scared were you with the whole thing? I mean, you did it. To me, you always seem really cool and calm. I know that's not it's not the actual situation all the time, but how scared were you to stop doing something that you've done for years, you got salary and benefits from, to this thing that you'd never done before professionally?
Extremely scary. Just because I kept seeing the bills coming, and I paid what I could, and I left the rest. And I was begging people to be patient. It's coming. Like I'm going to figure this out. So really, it was honestly a leap of faith, and really leaning heavily on my mentors and my mother, who had faith in me from the beginning. It was scary. Like this interview is scary because I have terrible stage fright. So
no, you're doing really well. I'm so what we're gonna do? We're gonna keep going. Right. No, that's good. That's good. Okay, so what's been the hardest part about this transition, this change of career? What's been the hardest part compared to when you went to school for graphic design, and I don't know, you probably had networked and maybe had some job leads, or I don't know, some sort of sense. And you said you relied a lot on your mentors and your mom. And what's been the hardest part?
I would say in the transition, the hardest part was, I would say, getting my family members on the bandwagon, besides my mother. Convincing them that this was a good idea.
Right.
And also continually convincing myself that it was a good idea.
Right.
Dealing with other people's reactions to the change, and, worrying about the judgment that came along with it. And I guess also, well, presently, one of the struggles is being a barber is gaining that respect of not just being the only woman and the pretty face in the shop, that I actually have a skill that I'm working on getting better at, but I actually have something to give besides, to be this pretty symbol or the statue in a barbershop.
Got it. Yeah.
So, I'm consistently proving myself, and surprising clients left and right, because some guys are motivated, or people are motivated by, how I physically look, and it's not really about the haircut.
Right.
But how great is it when both of them match up?
Oh my God. Right. That's a dope, like a double whammy. I like it.
Right. Like,
okay, so is there anything that you actually miss about the corporate world? I mean, I know you said it wasn't for you. You realized that long term it probably wasn't going to be. But is there anything that you miss about working in corporate America?
Absolutely not. I would say I miss the good benefits, and I miss the steady paycheck. And the vacation, the built-in vacation time and the sick time. I was a little bit spoiled by that. I don't really miss much. I was pretty beat up by it.
Yeah. I remember, and I am in that realm. So it's like every day, and almost sometimes, even though every day is not the same, every day sometimes feels the same, because I think there's something not being fulfilled in doing something for someone else sometimes. Sometimes you find a great fit and that can motivate you and keep you interested in your field. But other times, if your heart's not in it, like you said earlier, it's not feeling right. So that's really cool. So you mentioned a couple of things earlier about what you love about the barber, the barbershop, beauty salon environment. What's been your favorite? What do you love most about barbering specifically? What do you love most?
I like, for me, because I'm a new barber. I like to see my growth, and from there are certain things that I struggled with in the beginning, and every day, or sometimes with the repeat clients, I have a chance to do better the next time. And when I see where I can see it, they sometimes don't even see it. And I'll say, do you remember when I started cutting you, how this used to look? And you're like, it always looked good to me. And I'm like, no, but look at this and look at that. And they're like, I guess you're right. I guess being able to, for the first time in my life, be a witness to my growth is something that's brand new to me. When you're a designer, when you're in art school, you're competing not only with yourself, but you're competing with other students for the grade. You're matched up next to other great artists, as you are in the barbershop, because you look to your right and your left. The guys that I work with, they've been in the field 30, 15, 20 years. Yeah. And it shows. And here comes this rookie who, people doubt, and they're questioning, okay, well, she's got to be okay because she's working with them, but do I take the risk and put my money and invest in her?
Right.
So it's a scary thing. I don't know if I answered that question.
I think you did. What you love most about, you said watching your growth, like watching your skills evolve. And yeah, I mean, that's great. That's good.
No, but also too, I also enjoy the social interaction that I get in the barbershop that I didn't get sitting behind the computer answering emails and answering phone calls and, looking at the time and waiting for 5 o'clock.
Right.
Now I work 12, 13-hour days, and yes, I'm tired, but I don't ever go to sleep now without a smile on my face, because I feel like I've either made somebody happy with their haircut,
right,
or the way that, lifted their self-esteem just physically, or I have we had a good conversation, and I maybe had, give not only advice, but maybe shed some light that
Yeah.
made that something that they haven't thought about. And that really gives me it makes my everyday worthwhile. Like, I go to have these conversations with my clients. On top of giving the good haircut, I get a reward in return by hearing how, the continuation of their story. Like, oh, this happened. I went on vacation and I met so-and-so. Then the next week I get to hear how that first date went, or how the wedding photos went, or, I had my first child, and, when my child gets older, I'm only going to have, him or her come to you. Like, that type of stuff means something to me. So the social aspect of it is, I think, purely the most rewarding, and on a daily basis.
I can imagine. You're such an extroverted person, and as a solid introverted person, I know you can't tell by doing this video, but this is really hard for an introvert to do. But do they have a class or something like that when you go to school for barbering or cosmetology or anything like that on the social aspect of that? Because, I mean, obviously the people who do well in that industry do well for a reason, and I know the personality, it lends to it. Like, I'm not going to go to anybody to do my hair if I don't like you, if I don't want to talk to you, I want to see your face or something like that. So I'm just curious, do they even teach? Is there a class on that, or a chapter or anything like that?
Actually, the first chapter in the barbering book is professional image. Now, they don't really teach, they teach how to dress, how to greet your client, how to, they suggest that, you try to bring conversation and, that type of stuff. But I feel no one can teach you how to be a people person. No one can teach you how to really care about the person in your chair. That is something that you either were raised with or is a part of your fiber.
Right.
I don't think you can teach how to be. I mean, you can teach respect and overall professionalism, but I don't know if you can teach how to really love, to love something that you don't know, or to touch somebody that you just met within 10 seconds. I think that's something, one, that I've been blessed with, and two, I really don't know where it came from. Honestly, it just happens. But there is, in school, they do teach you how to, they say, try to start a conversation, small talk, and make the person, introduce yourself and dress, make sure your hands are clean and your tools are clean. And I think all that adds to it, but it's up to the barber to take it to the next level.
I get it. I mean, obviously, when you and I met, that whatever you have presented or whatever, it was on me, because I was spewing to you the first day we met in person, and we had worked together for at least a year. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, you have something that people just connect with. And I mean, we have mixed company, some shared friends, and I've been introduced people that you like, and vice versa. And you give off an energy that I think people are really drawn to, and I can imagine how that helps you in the barbershop. So that's great. Okay, so we talked about earlier, you do have a look that the average barber, at least, in the DC area, I'm sure there are plenty of beautiful barbers out there, no offense to anybody. But, a typical barber is a man, and, they're cool, they're laid back, they're casual. Bring a different, I think, an elegance to barbering. Even when you're not dressed up, you still have a little something. So you have this, and like you said, you were interested in makeup and hair and all that stuff as well. So why not cosmetology? Why not work? You know, why not do that with the barbering skill? Why'd you pick barbering instead?
That might be my next chapter, actually. I'm not ruling it out. Like I said, as an artist, there's no limit to where you can take your talent. And I feel like one avenue leads to the next. And it's to an artist's disadvantage to limit that.
Right.
So I might end up being a makeup artist down the road, and I might get into cosmetology. Barbering kind of drawed me in I was drawn in by barbering, mainly because the simplicity of it. You know, you get the cut, you put the great shape up on it. You may, you rub some moisture through it or some gel. It's quick, it's fast, it's like photography. You take that great shot and you're out. Mm-hmm. You may have to do a little buffing or some photoshopping, but when you know you've got that shot, it's that instant gratification that barbering gives that cosmetology takes a little bit more time to get. You know, you got to learn the cut, you got to do the blow dry, you got to, flat iron and do all that. That's great. Yeah. But I don't have the patience right now.
Right now.
I'm not saying never, but right now I'm into mastering, and nothing's sexier than a clean, crisp haircut on a man.
No, that's right. Yeah, I agree.
I don't care if they come off the basketball court. When they get that fresh cut, they look like $1 million.
They do.
Period. It's like man makeup. A haircut is man makeup.
Yeah, that's a good analogy. That's a good analogy.
And I'm into
it. Okay. I'm going to pause for a second just to remind anyone who might be looking or watching from their computer. There's a Q&A button somewhere on your screen. Find it. If you have a question for Lesley, you can start typing those in now. Unfortunately, you can't be on the call with me. Only I can be talking to Lesley right now. So if you do have a question, feel free to use the Q&A and type it there. But we're a little past halfway through my questions for her. So if you have anything, just put it there, and then I'll ask Lesley on your behalf. Okay, so you had a birthday recently, but you also celebrated what you coined as your barberversary.
Yes.
What was that about?
I came up with the term barberversary because I feel like this barber thing is, to me, maybe what a master's degree or a PhD is to someone else. It's the next chapter. It's the next move into fully developing who I am as a person. So, one, I did it to thank my clients and to let them know, yes, I'm new at this. I thank you for your support. I'm celebrating where I am, a year, 2 years later. But the barberversary to me means to me, it's like, the first year of something great. I don't know how great it will become. I don't know how far it will go, but it was such a shift for me. But I truly haven't been happier.
That's great. Okay. All right. So that's 1 year later. What about the next 5 years? I mean, there's a potential you might be delving more into more cosmetology fields or something like that. But what would you like to see happen with the Lady Clipper brand? Like with Lady Clipper, I'm not going to just call it a brand, because I think it's more than that. Mm-hmm. Especially for you. I know you, and like you said, you're an artist. So Lady Clipper is a part of a bigger brand that is Lesley. So what are you envisioning? What kind of dreams do you have for Lady Clipper, 5 years from now?
Ooh.
Be honest, you might not know, but I mean, just take a moment and think about it for a second and see what comes up.
I mean, I do have dreams of opening a small boutique style shop.
Style shop, what does that mean?
When I say boutique, I mean 3 chairs, 3 hand-picked barbers, maybe me on a few days. Really making the place somewhere where everyone's comfortable, making the price point where, maybe a little bit more than your local barbershop, but not to the degree where you're scratching your head and wondering what you paid for.
Right.
So it's kind of meshing the salon, and the barbershop in one. Giving them the not only the man, but men usually are predominantly at a barbershop. What a lot of women seek in their hair salon is that luxury. It's that look, but you don't have to pay something that is so out of reach to get. So for me, I'm trying to find the middle between the spa, luxury salon experience and the neighborhood barbershop. That's sort of my dream, to kind of take it to another level, but not take it to a place where it's unfamiliar.
Right.
Or uncomfortable for the everyday man, the construction worker, the man with dirt under his nails. He can feel comfortable there too.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So that would probably take you out of the doing of your craft. So I mean, what do you
it would be doing. I would still be doing, but I would be developing in a different way. So I'll still be crafting, but it'll be crafting. I would hopefully hire great barbers to do that part where I would work on the promotion. And I'll work in the background, but of course, if people want me, I would never abandon my clients.
Okay.
But I don't know how I would take care of the volume and my shop at the same time. It would be a very tricky balance, but I'm not saying it won't be impossible.
Right. Well, the good thing about developing a great brand is that it develops trust in your customers. So if kind of like where you are, if the people in there are working with you and vice versa, there's got to be something to it. If they know you and they trust Lady Flipper, the brand, then they will definitely not be as intimidated to try someone who is working, in your establishment if you had that at the time. So that's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely. I want it to be very comfortable. Anybody that I work, I would hire. Personality would trump over the cut or the skill, because I feel like skill is something that can develop and can be taught to a certain degree.
Okay. So until then, all right, it's not 2020 yet. So until then, let's talk about maybe some of the coolest thing that you've done barbering in this past year. Like what's been the coolest experience or the coolest anything that's come up for you as a barber?
Well, I've had my first celebrity client, Dougie Fresh, a few months ago. He came to DC for Emancipation Day, and a friend of mine connected me with him, and I was so happy to serve him and to get to know him. I've always heard his music, and my brother was more into him than I was.
Yeah,
he's a little bit older. Yeah, I was younger. My brother was more into it, but I am familiar with his music, so I knew cutting his hair meant more to my brother than it was to me. So as soon as I got the call that Dougie Fresh wants you to make him fresh, I text my brother and I was like, hey, I have 5 minutes to tell you this, but I'm on my way to cut Dougie Fresh's hair. And he's like, you're lying. I'm like, I'm lying. You know what I mean? I think that was probably, it was my first and only celebrity. However, because I'm not the starstruck type.
Right.
at all. I mean, I feel behind
Definitely.
every icon, behind every star, there's a person. You know,
Right.
it's not the image. It means something, but it's not everything.
Right.
And talking to Dougie Fresh, and you know, him asking me personal questions about what are you doing here? You look like you belong in a salon, or why? You know, him really showing interest in me really inspired me, because I'm like, you know, if I ever were to make it as big as him in my own right, I would always want to show interest and care about whoever is serving me at the time. So I think if we're talking celebrity, or we're talking the coolest thing, I would say meeting someone that I'd heard and my brother had idolized, you know, my older brother had idolized, and actually, you know, it was kind of like I'm proving that, you know, it was a little trophy for me.
Okay, so Dougie Fresh, your first celebrity client. I'm sure there are going to be more in the future, some kind of way. I mean, you just, yeah,
Even
that
if
that
it's
was,
not, even if
yeah,
I never get another so-called celebrity, I really have built great relationships with my, you know, so-called everyday clients, you know, friendships and bonds that probably won't ever leave me.
right,
You don't get that behind a computer. You can't form those relationships responding to emails.
right. You don't.
You just don't. And I'm not putting down anybody in corporate America or the corporate you know, the corporate experience, because without it, I don't think I could be as good at what I do without that background.
Right.
So I'm thankful.
Right. Okay, good. All right. So I've always wanted to ask you. It's a stupid. It seems stupid, but a person, we're different. We're friends, but we're very different in a lot of ways. So my thing is, how do you have so much energy to do all of the things that you get done? I think you're one of the most productive people that I know. Again, always up to something, doing something. Girl, you make shoes. I don't even know who makes shoes. I'm like, who makes shoes? I don't understand. When you had to purses, you didn't make purses and shoes and hair and graphic designs and decorating. Your mom decorates, so you help her do that too. You babysit, you got 1 million godchildren. How do you?
I do.
You don't even seem human. And then you go to bed early.
I do.
You go to bed early, Lesley. I can't.
But Lisa, if I don't go to bed, how evil am I?
I don't know. I've never seen you evil ever.
Okay.
Really,
well,
really.
I took it. I hide it well.
You do.
No, yeah. I mean, this all of that comes from how I was raised. You know, my family members, we all go to bed early, and we wake up early, and we get it done. Get it done, be over it, and move forward. I don't know. I don't know where the motivation or the push comes from. I mean, I do know, but but I mean, I've had great examples. My dad is an entrepreneur. My mom is a registered nurse. So between those are two hustling jobs. You know, so when you're raised by hustlers, you become a person that hustles. And I'm not talking drugs. I'm just talking about time. Time has always been something that is been important to me.
All right, so that actually leads me into my next question. You told us what your father does versus what your father did and what your mom was trained to do. Where do you think you got your creativity? Did you get it from your mom or your dad?
You starting?
I know. I'm putting you on.
You gonna start a riot. You gonna start a riot. But my mom, I would say that they are both very creative in their own right. However, because my later years in life, I was raised by my mother. My dad was always involved in a part of my life. But my mom, my mom used to make dolls, sew, and she was always a crafter, and did Christmas decorations and decor and wreaths, and she would have little mini craft shows on her dining room table and invite the neighbors and make money. She was a registered nurse. She didn't have to.
Right.
But she did it because, in my opinion, and she might, I don't know if she'll agree or disagree, but she did it because it was something she loved and she was passionate about, and gave her peace. That from the outside looking in. So whether she verbally told me these things, growing up and witnessing it and the joy that it gave her, and I did question sometimes, like, why is she spending all these hours on sewing this doll or making this thing? But I didn't get it until I got it, if that makes any sense. I didn't get it till that I realized that some of her was in me.
Right. I got it.
Yeah. So I think creativity, definitely my mom, survival, a combination of the two. Yeah. And that unconditional love that I try to put out to customers and friends, and it can be draining, don't get me wrong. That comes from both parents.
That's good.
And no matter what, that respect it trumps anything that you can do or cannot do.
That's true. So. Yeah. Based on your experience, what advice would you give?
I would say, as a female interested in barbering, you have to first develop the skill of ignoring, because people are going to have things to say. Whether you're good, bad, or anywhere in between, they're going to have, because you're a woman in a male-dominated field, they're always going to feel maybe you don't do it better. There's some people are going to feel that you do it better because you are a woman. Ignore all of that and really look within, and put all of the collective pieces that have come from your past all together and push through. It really is about quieting all that noise in the background, so that you can hear your own inner voice. I'm not trying to be all Jerry Springer with it, but you know what I mean? Like, it's hard because you're going to have people in your shop that are supportive, not so supportive, maybe jealous of you, maybe some days are better than others. But as long as you hold your course and you're focused, and you just ignoring it, just kind of let all that stuff, develop rubber bumpers even.
Right.
And just stay humble and know that you may not be at everybody's level, but you will be. Just keep working at it.
So the last thing you said was staying humble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Biggest life, you know worse than anybody else, and you know better.
Right.
And those are words to live by. You might not be there, but you'll get there.
Okay.
And it takes time. Everything takes time.
Right.
Well,
again, I'm in awe of your transition. I think you did an excellent job switching careers. Most people don't do it, so I don't know, aren't can't be as successful as somewhat calm. But I know it's been a road. I know it's been a journey. I know it's still a journey. You're not even close to being finished. So I just give God, Lesley, very good. I'm so proud of you. You have so many people who really appreciate your skill and what you do. In addition, just are motivated by the things that you keep putting out creatively, and just as a person that does love people. So, you found a really good calling, and I think it really suits you. So congrats on that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So here, I think it was really fun to have this conversation with you. I've never asked you all of those questions before, but now I feel like I have a really good sense of your transition and just how it's all turning out. So You know, I'm a fan. So just
oh, thank you.
Do you have anything else you want to say? Do you want to say to people who watch this video now or who will be watching later? Anything else is coming up, or just anything you want to say?
I just want to thank everybody who has tuned in, taken the time, who will later look at it on YouTube. Please come see me, call me, text me. I'm always willing to talk and, you know, make an appointment.
You are. And don't forget to follow you on Instagram and Facebook. Just search for Lady Clipper, and they can find you and see what you're doing, what you're up to, and some of the cuts that you do and styles, because you have a very diverse clientele, which is really appealing. You don't just cut, you know, Black men or, you know, women or anything like that. You cut everyone's hair. You do a really good job too. So I'm an advocate of short hair, as you can see. So I like a good cut. I like a good cut.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And it's only going to get better. So, you know, this is only year 1.
Yeah.
So hopefully every year it gets better. Maybe we'll do another interview next year.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see what happens.
We'll see what else happens. Thank you, Lisa, for your time and for putting this together.